Okay, isang makabatang araw po sa ating lahat and welcome to the fourth day of our Suri webinar. And once again, I am John Ray Banyeria, a student from Buena Vista National High School, Schools Division of Guimaras. And I am so delighted and thankful po to be part of this momentous webinar. And I think ready na po ang lahat, especially pong ating mga tagapagpakinig sa ating diskusyon. And to start our presentation, I just want you to ask a very famous question, which is, ikaw, para kanino ka bumabangon? So we frequently hear this question at different platforms, especially po sa mga ads, kung na ini-emphasize kung para kanino po ba talaga tayo bumabangon. So, basically tayong mga student, bumabangon tayo para sa ating klase, para sa ating schoolworks, anything. And specifically, para sa ating mga researcher, bumabangon tayo para sa deadline. Bumabangon po tayo para sa paper, and especially po para sa ating study. But what is the specific reason kung bakit kailangan po natin ma-determine kung para kanino tayo bumabangon? So there is a specific reason behind that. And the answer leads to the concept of what we call purpose. Yes, purpose in research. Kahit saan mayroong purpose yung ating research, ito yung pinaka-foremost baseline kung bakit natin ikinakonduct yung study, right? Ito po yung nagbibigay ng direksyon kung saan natin itutungo yung results ng ating study in line or aligned sa ating mga aim. And when we are being asked by the panelists or even the beneficiaries of our studies of what is the purpose of your study, what is the impact of your study, well, the pinaka-basic answer na ating maisasagot sa kanila is to help the community upang makatulong sa komunidad. Ito pong pinaka very specific na answer na maisasagot natin as it is comprises the last step of conducting a research. Well, lahat ng mga results na nadidiskubre natin, lahat ng mga aim, lahat ng mga sagot sa aim na nakalap natin sa ating study ay dapat nating i-communicate sa komunidad kasi sila yung beneficiary ng ating study. So meaning, we are having the concept rin po ng keeping the community in mind. So by keeping the community in mind, there are lots of insights about it. But the question is, how? Paano po natin mai-embrace itong concept na ito? At sa paanong paraan? And dito na po papasok yung concept na na-organize namin at natutuhan from our study, which is yung study namin ay nagfo-focus sa pagdidiskubre ng potential ng tatlong local legume seaweeds sa Guimaras Island. And this is called 8 plus free from nothing to something concept. Bakit 8 plus free? Merong 8 na concept at ninagdagan pa ng tatlo. So, I think let us start. And these 8 concept are the key considerations kung paano natin maki-keep in mind ang ating komunidad while we are conceptualizing rather a research study. So, hindi na natin papatagalin pa. So, let us start with the first step. Okay, the first step is to keep in touch with the community. So basically, as a citizen of our society, it is our responsibility na maging mapagmatiyag rin sa ating komunidad. So we know what is happening in our community. And I think it is impossible naman po na magko-concept tayo ng isang pulido na community study without keeping in touch with the community. So meaning, na co-comprise dito yung yung scientific attitude ng isang researcher na pagiging observant. Yes po. So kinakailangan po na sa pinaka very first part ng ating conceptualization, meron tayong essence of observation kung anong nangyayari sa ating paligid. Right? We know what our community has to offer to its people. Just like po sa aming study, well, i-incline po natin ito sa isla kung saan kami nabilong, which is Guimaras Island. So Guimaras is basically an island, meaning Dahil ang Guimaras ay island ay ikino-comprise po ito ng isang malaking water body. Pinapalibutan po siya ng tubig. At beside that, mayroon po siyang maraming water bodies. So meaning, rich ang Guimaras sa marine resources. And except po that, meron rin pong mga resources rather, na mayroon ang Guimaras when it comes to terrestrial, such as mangoes, and also we have such resources in innovation, kagaya po ng wind farms, and also mga rich or bountiful harvesting po ng dragon fruit, kasoy, palay, coconut, and everything po, kahit mga tourist destinations, rock formations, beautiful beaches, islands, mini islands sa aming isla. And that what makes Guimaras unique. Dapat natin ma-identify kung anong ikana-unique ng ating locality. And without profound or baseline na knowledge kung anong nangyayari at kung ano ang mayroon sa ating community, then we can proceed to the second tip, which is po ang paghahanap ng material or konsepto na hindi pa nabibigyan ng pansin sa ating locality. So basically, you are finding the papansin, ngunit hindi naman pinapansin. In your own observation, in your locality, dapat humanap ka ng magaling na concept na hindi pa po nadidiskubre ng lahat or ng iba. Ngunit nandiyan lang po siya, nakikita ng lahat, nakikilala ng lahat, ngunit hindi pa alam kung para saan pa po siya ginagamit. So basically, you are finding an observative encounter kung hindi ba natural encounter. So one of the example neto, there is yung paghahanap namin ng seaweed. So yung story behind this is kind of interesting because po, specifically po ako ay nakatira sa near the shores po ng Buenavista and also near the wharf po papuntang Iloilo. And while po ay pauwi na po ako, ay nakita ko pong itong seaweed na napulutang-lutang sa ilalim ng tulay. So basically, na-curious ako. It is the curiosity that pushes us to think and to ask about a concept or a subject. Bakit palutang-lutang naman siya diyan pero hindi naman pinapansin? Hindi naman natin alam kung saan pa siya ginagamit. Ngunit andiyan naman siya, marami naman siya. And after natin madiskubre po ng ganyang klaseng subject, doon na po tayo hahantong sa konsepto ng pagve-verify ng current value ng ganoong material or resource sa ating komunidad. Basically, that's the number three concept po sa ating discussion. So, after we found that material, so dapat nating alamin kung ano po talaga yung community usage, kung ano yung background sa ating locality, kung ano pa yung status ng variable na nariyan sa ating community. Baka ginagamit pa siya sa ibang concept, ginagamit pa siya sa livelihood or anything, parang ganyan po. And when we connect naman po natin sa aming study, nung na-found namin yung seaweed na balutang-lutang, ay una ina-ask po namin sa locals, anong-ano po ba ito? So the basic concept na naisabi nila ay itong seaweed na raw ay hindi na raw makakain. It's inedible seaweeds. At nung kabataan nila ay ginagamit lang nila ito bilang laruan. Yes, hindi po siya ginagamit into anything na significant sa community. And one thing rin po ay pumunta po kami sa fisheries section ng aming munisipyo, and they stated that this specific species of seaweed, especially the Sargassum fluitans, ay inedible po talaga sa aming isla, meaning it is also less valued or being overlooked by the locals in our community. And now that you have found out its background in the locality, then one thing rin po na i-consider natin is yung kanyang accessibility, which leads to the fourth tip, kung ang material ba or ang resource na napili mo ay abundant ba sa community. So we need to assess if this resource or material is attainable po ba sa masa. It is naturally growing po ba? May cycle po ba siya? Kahit anong gawin mo, pumapatuloy pa rin yung cycle niya. At accessible po ba siya sa mga locals? Yun po ang isang thing na need natin i-consider. So example po nito ay yung seaweed sa aming locality na mako-consider nating accessible siya dahil I've stated earlier, maraming water body sa Guimaras na kung saan nananahan yung mga seaweed. And according naman sa mga RRL, this type of seaweeds or generally rather seaweeds are considered fast growing. So pumapatuloy yung cycle niya dahil sa pagdami niya ng pagdami and it is considered being accessible. And let us proceed to the very important um, tip that we need to consider, especially relevant po itong concept na ito sa panahon ngayon, which is the sustainability. So, is the material or resource sustainable? So as we are pushing different goals today, especially the sustainable development goals, I think familiar naman po kayo sa SDGs. So it is important na yung kino-concept na study natin ay aligned sa sustainability. Ito po yung hinahanap-hanap ng mga study sa ngayon, which is pinupush ito yung thread kung paano natin masusustain ang future. So example rin, ito pa rin yung seaweed, yung three species of seaweed na mako-consider natin na pinaka-sustainable as it doesn't need na po ng mga ano pang chemicals or anything para magpatubo ng mga seaweed na ito as it is naturally growing in our community. And also nandyan lang po siya. So it doesn't leaves any carbon footprints. So importante rin po na mapropromote natin yung environmental friendliness ng isang material nang sa ganoon ay mas ma-emphasize natin yung kaniyang um, impact sa community. It's like a plus points sa community po. And now that you have found out your material or resource in your community and also you have considered the different parameters in the previous tips, now you should also find na kung ano yung mga current status ng iyong material in a larger scale. So previously, we discussed about finding its role in our community. But now we are now finding its role in a larger scale. So we are finding its what are the existings rather in the national and the global scale. And also, hinahanap rin natin kung ano na yung potential ng ating resource or material according sa mga existing studies. And as we are connecting these potentials and insights in a macro scale, we are finding the gap and we are connecting it sa gap na gusto nating tugunan. One of the example sa study natin, so I will give a concept, key concept po. So yung seaweed natin ay mayroong bioactive compounds. So lahat ng mga halaman ay mayroong bioactive compounds. It is given. And what makes seaweed unique on its potential because it has polyphenols. And under the polyphenols, according to Gazi 2022 and also Paga et al. 2022, mayroon silang distinct compound na tinatawag natin na fluorotannin. So it is a type of polyphenol na makikita lamang sa mga brown seaweeds. And this fluorotannins alongside with the overall component of polyphenols ay ang nagpupush, sila yung nagpupush sa pag-eliminate ng mga free radicals which indicates na mayroong antioxidant activity yung seaweed. And when we connect it to the SPF, so good SPF is considered po kapag mayroon siyang polyphenols. But when we connect it naman po sa mga existing studies, yung mga material or resource na kanilang ginagamit ay more on terrestrial plants. Meaning yung mga plants na nakikita lamang sa ating kalupaan, just like guava and etc. na nagamit na sa mga study. And it leads to the gap now, what if we use marine plants? Is there a potential na mga marine plants para rin sa SPF na makapag-absorb ng UV light at magkapag-indicate ng high amount of SPF? So, yan po yung pagko-connect ng ating mga gap at mga insight in a macro scale. And additionally, I just want to share an experience by so this is a plus factor sa mga seaweed. When we back onto the less valuability of seaweed, hindi lang po talaga siya sa Gimaras ng kino-consider na less valued. So I had these pictures documented when we had a vacation po sa Aklan ata po ito. This seaweed, nakita ko, bakit nagkakaganito? So it has found out, specifically yung sargassum na nakikita natin sa slide, ay nagke-create pala siya ng high tides. So meaning, kung meron silang red tides, rather, na nagkakaroon sa dalampasigan, ay nagkakaroon siya ng distraction. Hindi lang sa local, kundi sa mga living things na nandyan sa dalampasigan. Example na riyan po, hindi na po talaga mapapaliguan ng maayos yung dalampasigan kasi marami nang nagtutumpok na mga seaweed. At yung ending, nagde-decompose lang siya. And additionally, yung the composition ng sargassum might be harmful sa ating living dahil nagiging mabaho siya. And ang pagiging mabaho niya ay resulta ng pagpapop ng kanyang circle part na nagpapop sa sargassum na nagre-release ng ammonia which nag-cause ng kanyang pagkabaho. Diyan po ang insight mula sa mga RRLs. And if yung pagka-fast growing ng sargassum na ito ay hindi natin maire-regulate or mapipigilan ng maayos, so magkakaroon lang siya ng malaking epekto kasi fast growing siya po. And yung ending niya, pag nasa dalampasigan lang ay nagde-decompose lang. So it is a plus factor in this study to give an avenue for this specific species of seaweed to have much an innovative role so that if this study will be materialized, so mare-regulate natin yung kanilang population. So that is a one thing na maganda sa study. And alright, so let us proceed to the seventh tip, which is the bridge your variables. Ayan na. Meron ka ng variables, meron ka ng gap, may resource ka na. So, yung next step is to bridge muna yung variables and identify the synergies. So, basically here in our study, our independent variable ay yung tatlong species ng seaweed na makikita sa Guimaras Island. And yung dependent variable niya, yung amount of UV light na kanilang maa-absorb as SPF according sa test namin na tinatawag na UV spectrophotometry. And ano po ba yung meaning ng pag-a-identify ng synergies? So, appreciate what are the synergies in your study. Ano po ba yung synergy meaning yung mga nagko-connect, yung nagbibigay ng harmony sa yung study. Sample po nito ay yung local to global approach. So while you are answering the gap of the overlooked seaweeds in your locality, you're also answering a global gap kung ano pa ba yung hindi na didiskubre sa SPF. So basically, nakikita natin sa slide, nag-introduce siya ng resources sa community, nag-give value siya sa mga overlooked na seaweed, and also nagbibigay siya ng baseline para sa future opportunities sa province, just like yung aquaculture. Baka masasali na itong mga species ng seaweed na ito if ma-materialize yung study sa aquaculture ng province. So global naman, mag-answer yung gap sa mga marine plants na also ma-emphasize yung paggamit ng sustainable materials sa ating innovation. And lastly, makaka-introduce siya ng bagong idea na bago sa mata ng lahat. And when you connect it, you will find their synergy. So it is a plus factor again to your study. The last tip in our 8 key considerations of keeping the community in mind is to consider also the ethical standards of the community. So basically, sa ating mga student research, importante po talaga na i-consider natin yung mga ethics ng ating study. So we need also to respect the rules and the regulations and also the laws that na sinusunod po natin sa ating komunidad while we are conducting our study. So tayo mga student researcher, yung role natin ay magdiskobre lamang ng mga material na naroon sa ating komunidad. And importante po na magkaroon po tayo ng connection sa ating authorities upang mabigyan ng guidance, suporta, gayon na rin ng validity yung ating study kasi as we all know that they have more credibility na makapagbibigay sa ating study. So one of the example ay nag-coordinate po kami sa DENR upang mag-ask ng permission pwede po ba kaming mag-sample ng mga resources sa Gimeras? And also, they are the ones who guided us while we are collecting these seaweeds in the beach, in a specific beach in our locality. And that comprises our 8 key considerations of the from nothing to something concept. So, ayun na yung mga konsiderasyon, yung mga parameters na dapat isaalang-alang sa pagko-concept ng study while ine-embrace natin yung concept ng community. But the question here is, ano naman po ba yung 3 sa 8 plus 3? So dito natin naman malalaman na ang 3, ito yung tips kung paano natin ma-embrace effectively yung concept ng keeping the community in mind. So, this tip is para po sa ating mga researcher. So, imposible po na makakapag-concept po tayo without having us as drivers of our study. So, we have also to have that tips kung paano natin madadrive ng maayos itong concept na ito. So number 1, do not just present your community. Accept it heartily. Kasi marami sa atin yung nagpe-present lang ng ating insight sa nakararami, ngunit hindi naman nilalagay sa ating puso kung ano po talaga yung pride na ating isinishare sa ating audience. So, when there is acceptance po, there is love. Diba? Tama po ba? Kasi kung mahal mo, tanggap mo ang flaws and imperfections, lahat, you know its strengths, you know its weaknesses. Just like po in our studies, yes, if you love your study, you accept everything in your study, including its strengths and including its limitations. Kaya dapat tanggap natin ang whole composition ng ating study at paano natin mabibigyan nito ng resiliency upang ma-show yung strength ng ating study amidst ng kanyang limitations. And then also be proud of what your community has to offer to its people. You are not just negotiating your study, you are introducing your community to everyone. You meaning proud ka kung anong meron sa iyong community. Proud ka na nanggaling ka sa community na iyan kung saan maraming abundant sa inyo. And also, be proud rin kung paano natin dinidiscover yung mga pakinabang ng bawat bagay sa ating komunidad na nabibigyan natin ng kabuluhan para sa convenience ng lahat. So that is the tip 1. So second, value the impact of your study deeply. So as I've said earlier, tayo yung driver ng ating study. So dapat binavalue natin yung impact ng ating study. It has a transformation in ourselves, not just to the beneficiaries of the study. Dapat meron ring transformation, meron ring realization, may reflection rin na nabubuo sa ating mga sarili. One of the example I just want to share a story rin ko kung paano ko binavalue yung impact ng aming study sa seaweed. So when we are having different vacations, just like na makikita ko lang yung seaweed kahit saan ng mga beaches sa Guimaras, kapag may kasama ako, itinatel ko po talaga or ikinikwento ko kung ano yung impact ng seaweed sa aming study. Maybe kind of cringe, but it is effective, especially if gusto mo yung ma-practice ka sa study mo, kung paano mo maisa sa buhay yung study mo. So effective siya. Basta ikwento mo kahit kanino kung paano naging impactful resource or material na nakita mo. For our last step is be ready to always float in the air. So ano po ba itong last tip na ito? Kailangan po ba natin na magpa-float po talaga literal sa air? Basically, no. But this tip implies na kailangan nating maging ready sa lahat ng mga uncertainties at lahat ng mga unpredictable situations na maaaring mangyayari sa ating study. Because hindi po lahat is taken for granted. So dapat handa po tayo sa lahat ng mga mangyayari sa ating study at meron po tayong strength. Kailangan handa not just your physical self, but your mental self. And I just want to emphasize your spiritual self because nakakapaghubog po talaga ito ng iyong resiliency while you're doing your study. And it creates a psychological thing to embrace and to love your study. And that was the wrap up of our 8 plus free from nothing to something concept. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. I hope na meron po kayong natutuhan sa sesyong ito. Before we end this presentation, I just want again to emphasize the phrase from nothing to something. So let's break down it into two. There is from nothing into something. So think of its connotation. Ano po ba yung mahiwaga sa phrase na ito? Meaning, in life, when there is humbleness, there is gratefulness. So in short, from being humble to being grateful. So through this, you can see how big the world is and what are the beauties that lie beneath the challenges of the community. Dito natin made-determine at maa-appreciate kung anong mayroon sa ating komunidad at dapat nating itong pahalagahan. And that is my strength. Bakit patuloy akong bumabangon? At siya ang rason kung bakit patuloy akong bumabangon. And I'm giving back the question again to you. So ikaw, para kanino ka bumabangon? So let's clap our hands for this successful session, everyone. So maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon upang ma-share ko ang kahalagahan ng ating community sa ating mga Ramonians at naway patuloy tayong ibibless ni Lord sa pagkakataong ito. Adya, padayon at maraming salamat po ulit.